size. It's about meeting those core adolescent needs. So let's talk about what they are. Okay, it's about staying connected 24/7. When you think about girls, or you think about when you were a teenager, you might remember something called a landline, right? Many of you guys have actually like a landline, right? And you have that phone sort of glued to your head, inside your head for hours, and your parents would pick it up and be like, what are you talking about? And the reality is you would be talking about sort of nothing. Maybe you'd be watching TV with the phone in your ear, just kind of silently being connected, staying connected. If you had a boyfriend or a girlfriend, you'd be just talking at all hours. And I think that hasn't changed. What's changed is obviously all these different tools that teens have to stay connected with each other. So let's talk about how teens are connected. It's not really email. Teens aren't connecting with each other via email. That's why there's that adults only. It's not X-rated at all. It's just email. They're using email to communicate with you or with their teachers, although from some of their email addresses you wouldn't know that. When it's sexybabe64 and she's writing to her teacher, something that's going to bring up with her. It's obviously I am still. Nearly 3 in 14, 70% send more instant messages than email. And texting, as we've been talking about it. Teens and young adults send more text messages than any other demographic. People ages 13 to 24 send and receive the most, more than 50 messages per week, and if the plan is unlimited, which not all teens have, but those who do, it's more than 40 a day. And I actually moderated a teen panel in Boston where we had youth saying they were texting more than 200 messages a day. Obviously, they're messaging within social networking sites. If anything, I would say that's sort of the new email for teens. It's messaging back and forth. It's commenting on each other's walls, on their MySpace journals, on their live journals, although Black Journal just took a hit recently. And just a stat to kind of illustrate all of this. This is from MTV and Microsoft. The average young person connected to digital technology has 94 phone numbers in his or her mobile phone, 78 people on a Messenger buddy list, and 86 friends in their social networking community, right? So this staying connected is still super powerful, but like so many things with technology, it's just amplified. So let's talk about hanging out, right? Because teens like to hang out, we like to hang out. For me, it was the McDonald's parking lot. We had a park I grew up in Nashville, Tennessee, that we hung out at a lot. I think what's happening with teens today is there are less physical spaces to hang out in. There are actually ordinances across the country where malls are now banning teens from coming in by themselves. They have to come with an adult to hang out at the mall where they buy actually most of the product. And they're also super busy. There used to be a time where kids were allowed to sort of just go out and play and come back by dinner. And now, as you know, we have play dates and activities and just all of this structure and then pressure if they are going to college to get into college. And college has gotten much more competitive to get into. So teens are busy. So where they're hanging out, obviously, is social networking sites, as we've been talking about. And I think, part of being a teen is individuating from your parents. It's creating your own separate identity. And you want to do that with your friends, and you don't want your mom and dad there with you when you're doing it. So, I think what's happening right now, when I first started doing this work around social networks, was, parents had no clue. They had no clue about these sites, what teens were doing. Now, of course, we have parents who are getting on to Facebook, and so the new issue, the new challenge is how to negotiate the boundaries, right? If mom and dad are there, do I friend them? What do I show them? Do I have to friend them? Do I friend my teacher, right? These are sort of the new issues that are coming up with more adults being on these sites. Obviously, there has been a migration, I think, for a lot of teens over to Facebook. From MySpace, I still think most teens have both profiles, although people who have moved over to Facebook may be using their MySpace profiles more to keep in touch, with friends that haven't left, or staying on top of music that they love, since MySpace is so much about music and entertainment and video now. And Facebook is really becoming more the functional, operational place where they're doing all this socializing and hanging out. That said, there are still teens on MySpace, and what's happening is, unfortunately, there's sort of stratification happening, right, across the lines of race and class on these sites. So you see more college-bound teens, more middle-class teens on Facebook versus MySpace. And a woman named Dana Boyd, who's done a lot of great research on youth and social networking, said it better than me. She is an academic, so there's going to be some academic language here. But she said hegemonic American teens, i.e.,